Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Have you ever said this to yourself? Boy, I'd love to have an interior designer, somebody to just redesign the living space that we're in, come up with different colors, different patterns, different layout, all of that. It's a fantasy, but it's one that's easily attained. And what's involved in that? What's it like to work with an interior designer? I found one and then found two. It's like the best of both worlds right here. Two is better than one, and they are co-owners of Realm Design Co. Hannah and Caitlin join us today on the program, offering a lot of insight on working with an interior designer. Welcome back. How you both doing?
Thanks. Good.
I really feel that many people would love to work with an interior designer, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, I've never done it, so yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to go there. It's not necessarily about the expense. It's about the fear of the unknown that I don't know how to do that. Maybe I need to provide a lot of information. This is out of my wheelhouse. I'm uncomfortable about it. So can we look at the process when somebody works with both of you? First of all, do they work with both of you? I guess that should be the first question.
Yeah, that is a great question. So we do work together on all projects. One thing to note that is different, every design firm has a different process and they have a different team. Caitlin and I are co-owners, but we both have different roles in the process. So we've always found it really valuable and kind of the best option for the client as well to get both of our expertise. And when we come together, that's usually creates the best product and the best experience for the client. And so we do have services that range for every person. I think just like you mentioned, it can be intimidating to even maybe admit that you need help. A lot of people, I think because HGTV became popular and DIY stuff became popular, a lot of people just think, oh, it should be something that I can do myself. I should be able to do it myself. And then they start a project and quickly realize how involved it really is to dive into it and to get a product that you're thrilled about and that check all of your boxes that you need. And so just explaining to people and showing everyone that we have created so many different service offerings for every budget, every client, location doesn't matter, all of those different things with technology. Now we can really work with anyone, and we want it to be something that's approachable as well for any person.
I'm going to press the pause button before we get back into the process of it. Do you both ever have differing opinions when working on a project?
Definitely. Yep. Hannah and I'd say we're pretty aligned overall. We've kind of grown to, I could tell you what Hannah would pick out of a arrangement of items, and she probably could tell you what I would more lean towards. But we do differ sometimes and kind of go back and forth of what the best option is. And I think that's beneficial because everyone has different opinions and it kind of brings different perspectives and ultimately will get us to the best decision in the end.
I completely agree. And I look at it this way. Like, we have different personalities. So I may be looking at a living room and thinking, go with stripes. Vertical stripes would really look great in there. Then another part of me is like, no, splashes of color. Splashes. What are you doing? Stop that. For you, the two of you might have that same view, but because you work together and have for such a long time, you're going to blend it for the perfect outcome. I think it's the best situation you could ever have, really.
Definitely. Yeah.
So back to the process. Now, somebody talks to you about what they're looking to achieve, their goals. Do you get a feel for what their design vibe is? Number one. Number two, do you sometimes identify that that's not really what they want? They think they want it, but it's not really what they want.
Yes. I feel like, again, going back to the popularity of certain shows on TV, there was a time where everyone thought modern farmhouse. That's what I want. That's what's popular. That's what I'm seeing on TV. And
thanks, Chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. There's absolutely space for that. But I think it kind of made people not understand being able to differentiate the different styles and the different elements. And we like to joke around that we're part-time designers, part-time marriage therapists, because we get husband and wife come in, and one likes super modern, clean lines, very minimalistic. The other likes eclectic and colorful and lots of character and interest. And so it's our job to be able to hear both sides of that and then create a blend that feels appropriate and also cohesive with each other. You know, you kind of, just like you were describing where Caitlin and I meet in the middle and create a design, it's, you have both elements and both are necessary for that completed vision. So I think it's giving clients the language to use and giving them visual options to show them, okay, when you say modern, this is what we're describing. Here's a visual. Is that what you're seeing? And giving them the opportunity to then be like, oh no, actually, I hate that. That's not what I think of when I say modern. So there's a lot of that kind of introductory conversation and just learning about each other and then going from there and then creating a design from that.
That's a great point, because modern farmhouse, I may be seeing one thing, you, Hannah, you might see something else. Caitlin, you've got a different definition of modern farmhouse. And maybe I'm sitting here, you know, my friend showed me something online or whatever, and I'm thinking, no, it's this. And you're like, what are you talking about? You're Steve, that's minimalistic modern. Like, where are you going with that?
Totally.
So I guess that's the equalize everything, get everybody on the same page. Where do you go from there in the process when somebody works with you both?
Yeah, so we always start with those concepts, those visual images, get everyone on the same page, kind of get the style moving in the same direction. And then we offer a few different services, right? So we offer video sessions. That's not just one time or as many video sessions as you want to sign up for. Our time with both Hannah and myself kind of reviewing. In our full service design projects, though, that's kind of where we start with those visual images. Once we get everyone on the same page, style-wise, which way we're going, we do 3D renderings of everything. So we draw your space up to scale in 3D. We implement all the materials, all of the lighting, all of the fixtures, furniture, and present that to clients. So we find that that's really, really important. Some designers don't use 3D renderings. Personally, don't know how you explain and kind of get that full vision design across without them. But we think that they're super, super helpful to really get everyone nailed down in a good direction before we start investing money into big spaces like that.
Let's talk money. In terms of budgeting for a project, how is that best done?
Yeah, so the way that we would price out a project is we'll do an initial call, and a lot of times they'll either a client will share a real estate link, they'll share photos and videos, some kind of representation, blueprints, things like that. And then we'll be able to, based off of our prior experience and the projects that we've done, we provide a flat fee cost for our design service associated with the scope and then the size of the space as well. There are variations to that. For example, we're doing, there's always the one-off project. Like we've done a TV set in Dallas before. We've done a podcast studio set. We've done an Airstream design where someone was completely ripping out the inside of an Airstream. And so there's always variations, and it's fun for us to get creative, but we're typically able to provide a price just based on the scope and size of the room. And then that helps with the client being able to budget, saying, okay, design fee, I know is X dollars. And now we piece it all together and they have a solid plan. It's not, I think the fear that a lot of people have is there's just an hourly rate, and kind of similar to an attorney where they don't know how many hours. Are we talking 5 hours? Are we talking 75 hours? You know, when it's just going off of an hourly cost, there's a big unknown. And when you're talking about a budget, that can be scary. So we came in with a flat fee cost to kind of eliminate that fear and give people a structure, a tangible number to just build off of.
When it's a more detailed or intricate renovation, do you take care of that budget or make those suggestions? So, for example, oh, you want an island in that kitchen? All right, well, that's going to cost this, typically what it's going to cost. If you renovate the bathroom, pulling everything out, putting new stuff in, countertop, blah, blah, whatever. Do you also identify all of that as part of when you're working with somebody?
Definitely. Yeah. So we have a ballpark idea. I mean, every space is so different depending on the style you're wanting, the how like the high end of or the level of quality with the materials that we're selecting. So we can always give people kind of a range that we are seeing in terms of like what your kitchen design is going to cost. But we're very upfront that that could change and pricing changes constantly. So we can't give you that hard, fast number. If we have a project that we're working on that we're like, let's just get the contractor in here up front. Sometimes we'll do walkthroughs before we even start the design and kind of get those conversations going. Specifically, if they're wanting to like move their plumbing or move their gas lines and kind of chat with the contractor of what's the cost going to be for that versus the benefit. And sometimes that's worth it to clients and sometimes it's not. But again, it's kind of like a fluid process. Like once we get pricing back, sometimes we have to make tweaks to the design in order to fit within those budget ranges. So we do our best, but with construction, like we mentioned before, once you open up walls too, you never know what you're going to find.
And yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's just the nature of the beast. You never know what's going to be there or what's going to present itself, or, what you thought was the, a supporting beam really isn't that. Oh, somebody did some work, 15 years ago and they didn't get a permit. Now we know why. Can you virtually direct a project that is a little more intricate? Meaning, some construction involved?
Yeah, so there are construction projects that we've done in different states, and it does take a lot of coordination. But the benefit of that element is, for example, Caitlin is in California and San Diego. I'm in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and we have figured out a process that works for both areas and beyond that. And a lot of the work is done virtually. So like she mentioned, we have a 3D model of whatever space we're working on. And so 99.9% of questions that will come up in a construction project can be answered based off of our 3D rendering. So if we're talking measurements, if we're talking finish selections or material call outs or anything like that, we can make those decisions virtually. And then also, there are certain meetings that we do prioritize to be in person, and we've flown out for those. Depending on the project, there's different ways that we can go about it, but we try to cater our services the best we can to each project and the needs that they have.
Do you always do renderings?
We very, very highly encourage them. We do some of those smaller projects, like we mentioned, the video sessions. Obviously, we don't do renderings during that. And we've done a few specification projects. We require at least one full room design of renderings. But sometimes clients have smaller spaces that they just need a few furniture items picked out for, or some lighting fixtures. And we don't require renderings for those, but we found that they're very helpful, and they're definitely they kind of like foolproof the process to a degree, because you are checking before you do anything. So yes.
And going back to what we were talking about before, you're seeing, or they're seeing what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So once again, equalizes everything and everybody's back on the same page. Maybe in the future we get together, maybe you do a screen share of a before, a rendering, and an after.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Those are always fun.
I love looking at renderings. I think it's so cool. And then seeing the after, and with today's technology, wow. It looks like you're typically looking at the room many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
So design process, what are we missing here? What are we leaving out when somebody is working with you?
Yeah. So Caitlin mentioned after we have the renderings and that final design plan completed, we can kind of go one of two ways. With certain projects where we're just doing specification call outs, like we're choosing furniture, or some people come to us and they're like, hey, we like all of our furniture, but we need all the finishing touches. We need artwork. We need small accessories. We like to say like the things that make a house a home. And so we can help with all those items. We do offer the services where we can order everything and have it shipped to receiving warehouse or things like that, kind of more of the full service option. Or we can just pass off the design plan. We can send you links and you can manage it from there and kind of run with it on your own. We find a lot of people that do our remote project service prefer that, so that they can either phase it out, budget wise, timeline wise. They can say, hey, let me design 3 rooms, and then I can order in 6-month increments and kind of plan it out myself based on budgets and all those things. So we find that a lot of people will do that. And then also with construction projects, you have a whole nother beast that we're opening up, where we're talking bids, we're doing walkthroughs, we're getting custom furniture item call outs and all kinds of things. So there's a lot more detail that we strongly encourage. Again, like Caitlin said, we highly recommend that if somebody is doing a construction project, that they don't just try to take the design plan and run with it, because I think a lot of people just, no fault to their own, they just don't understand the level. Like you mentioned, Steve, before, you got an ulcer from the construction project that you try to do. And that is so common. I mean, we hear that, the stress that it puts people under. And so we try to tell people like, hey, we've done this for enough years to know, if you're trying to do construction, keep us involved. Let us help you determine, the subs to work with, contractors to choose. We know how to vet people. Even if we haven't worked with them before, we know the questions to ask, kind of the red flags that we'll hear, based on our history. So there's that kind of is a high level view of what happens after the design plan is finished.
And I can see that some people may look at it and say, yeah, let me get the plans. Let me just, feel them out, get some ideas, and then, cut them loose. Why go halfway?
Yeah,
totally.
Why engage interior designers when they're not going to take care of all of it or a majority of it? Because there is, looking even at your projects, there's something in the finished project where it all comes together. So yeah, okay, you hand me plans, I'm ready to go, all right, and walk out. Thank you very much. But it's not going to have that pop of, because I'm not going to find the same items that you found. I wouldn't even know where to start.
We have some clients, our contractor packets are pretty detailed. So there are specific personalities of clients who can take it and are detailed enough to kind of run with it, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare. Engineers.
Engineers, yeah, totally. But yeah, it's like, and then they come back and they're just like, that was a lot of work. And we're like,
yeah. But that's only one aspect. That's, let's say the construction, the build, that's that. Now when it's, now I've got, 4 walls, call it that, in this room, the added room. Now what? Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the furniture store, and then I'm going to go to Home Goods. I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to try and hope this goes together. It's like, I am so, remember this moment, so done with all of that. I will never do it again. And I'm a firm believer in never saying never. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just not. It's just, I look at my place now, and I kind of rushed when I got in there, and it's like, yeah, it's all right. That's okay there. It's, but do I love it? I love my bedroom. I'll say that. But why? Because it's got big windows, it's a huge window, and it's bright and airy. My living room, it's all right. It's comfortable, but I wouldn't say I love it. And I'm somebody that likes to love, like I love, my office, my studio. There was more of that went into me. I wasn't in a rush, but whatever. It needs to, from start to finish. That is the right way to do it. And yes, ulcer, I gave myself one. Backyard project. Not even kidding. Can't make that up. Check the medical records. It happened. Final thoughts here. Final thoughts on working with you guys. Things to remember, things that, even when you wrap up a project toward the end, anything come to mind?
Yeah, I was just going to talk about, Caitlin mentioned the video sessions earlier. I think it's, when we're talking about something that's approachable and something that isn't a lot of buy-in, our video sessions are $500 for an hour for both of us on Zoom, and we give you as much content as we possibly can fit into that hour. So we're, whatever your project might look like, That can include a review of inspiration ideas. We'll send you links for furniture that we think will work. We'll send you dimensions of, hey, you need an 8-foot sofa and a 9x12 rug. Here's a couple options. Go check them out. And we try to make that service as versatile as possible for every client. So whether you're working on a living room or a bathroom renovation, you're trying to do it on your own, or you just are kind of dipping your toes into, do I hire an interior designer? Do I need that? Can you help me look at the plans and understand this whole process? And then also the other people who, are 75% of the way there, and they just need the affirmation, the understanding of, okay, can you just look at what I've put together and make sure that I'm on the right track, because I'm about to spend $10,000 here on a whole living room of furniture and I don't want to mess it up. And I want to love it when I get in there at the end. So the video sessions, you can go right on our website and choose a time slot. Like I said, it's for Caitlin and I both, and we love doing those. They're really helpful to people. So we'd love to just help more people and
Sure.
let people go from there.
One thing I detect in both of you is you're fresh, you have fresh ideas, you are aggressive. And I don't doubt for a second when you do a video session that every second is going to be used to the benefit of the client. It's not going to be, let me take a moment and let me see if I can find a couch that might work for you. Yeah, let me get a cup of coffee. I'll be right. No, you guys are like bam, 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 which is, that's my speed. Like, I want to move it and get it done right. And you guys, your passion is there and you take it very seriously. You're not messing around.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to that, I mean, day in and day out, Caitlin and I are looking at options all over the internet for every other client. And so, you can think of that as like being able to take advantage of what we see every day. So we can do it really quickly. And because we know, you're looking for a cream performance fabric couch and an 8-foot and you want different configurations, immediately I know 5 different sources that you can go to, and I can send you that link. So that's why the video sessions are so power packed, because we do this all day, every day. So it's a quick process.
It's like you've already done the research for the client, even though you could have not even worked with them yet. You've already done the research because it's top of your mind. You lost me at the word couch. I don't even know what you just said. I didn't. It's like too much for me to process. How do we connect with both of you? How do we do that?
So our website is www.realmdesign.co. We're at Realm Design Co. on all social media. And then direct emails info at Realm Design, REALM design.disco.
Got it. 20 seconds left. Any closing thoughts?
Reach out to us. Feel free, whether it's a commercial project, boutique, office, custom home, small room, nursery, playroom, outdoor. We've done it all. We have experience in everything. So we're excited about the projects coming.
Cool. And I'm going to steal from Nike, just do it, but I'm going to abridge that. And it's just do it right. That's the bottom line. Just do it right.
Definitely.
Great having you guys on. Appreciate your insight. Again, your passion, your energy, and looking forward next time we talk.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.